This is the PMP and the Snap. Sneak in a quick lesson into your busy schedule so you can pass that exam. Let's snap in. Hey there, Project Rockstars. Welcome back to PMP and the Snap, the podcast where we break down PMP concepts into digestible, stress-free lessons. I'm your host, Kaye B, and today we're talking about one of the most satisfying, yet sometimes frustrating, processes in scope management: validate scope. Have you ever finished a project deliverable only for the client to say, this isn't quite what we wanted? Or maybe you've been on the receiving end of an endless change request right before delivery. If so, you've felt firsthand the pain of not validating scope properly. But don't worry, today we're going to make sure that you never have to deal with that headache again. Before we dive in, let's do a quick refresher on scope management. Scope management is all about defining and controlling what's included in a project, and just as importantly, what's not included. The 6 scope management processes are: 1. Plan scope management. This establishes how scope will be defined and controlled. 2. Collect requirements. This gathers stakeholder needs and expectations. 3. Define scope. This develops a detailed project scope statement. 4. Create WBS. This breaks down the scope into manageable work packages. 5. Validate scope. This formally accepts completed deliverables, which is our topic today. And then 6. Control scope. Manages changes to the scope throughout the project. Alright, let's zoom in on validate scope and see why this process is a game changer for project success. The validate scope process is all about getting formal acceptance of completed deliverables. The key word here is formal, meaning no last-minute surprises or "I thought this was included" moments. This process happens at the end of each phase or the entire project and ensures that what was delivered aligns with the agreed-upon requirements. It's different from control quality, which checks if deliverables meet standards. Validate scope is all about getting sign-off from the customer or stakeholders. To validate scope, you need the following inputs: project management plan, specifically the scope management plan and the requirements management plan to guide validation. Next is the requirements documentation. This is the full list of what the stakeholders expect from the project. Then we also need requirements traceability matrix. This is a fancy way of saying, here's the proof that each requirement was met. Next up is verified deliverables. These have already passed quality checks and are ready for stakeholder review. And then work performance data. This is information on the project's progress and deliverables completion. To officially validate scope, project managers use these tools and techniques, and there's only 2. Inspection. It's a formal review where stakeholders examine deliverables. This could be reviews, walkthroughs, testing, or even live demonstrations. Then there's decision making. Typically, stakeholders will approve, reject, or request changes based on inspections. Quick tip: always document everything. Even if a stakeholder verbally approves a deliverable but later says, "Wait, I never signed off on that," you always want written proof to avoid confusion. Now, after validating scope, you'll get the following outputs. 1. Accepted deliverables. These are signed off and officially ready for use. 2. Work performance information. This is data on what's been accepted, what's been rejected, and why. 3. Change requests. If deliverables don't meet expectations, stakeholders may request formal changes. And 4. Updates to project documents. It's the lessons learned register, requirements documentation, and project scope statements that may all need updates. When done right, validate scope helps prevent rework by catching issues early, avoid scope creep by ensuring changes go through the right process, improve stakeholder relationships by keeping them engaged throughout the project, and ensure smooth project closure by getting official acceptance before moving on. Alright, so let's all sum it up. 1. Validate scope is a process of getting formal acceptance of deliverables from stakeholders. Key inputs include scope management plan, requirements documentation, and verified deliverables. The main tools are inspection, which are formal reviews, and decision making, which is the approvals or change requests. The major outputs are accepted deliverables, work performance information, change requests, and document updates. And then a strong validation process prevents rework, reduces scope creep, and keeps stakeholders happy. Well, that's our wrap for today's episode of PMP in a Snap. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your fellow project managers. Until next time, keep your scope in check, your stakeholders engaged, and remember, it's not done until it's accepted. See you in the next episode. There's a new PMBOK coming out this year, and that means the exam will change. Take the PMP exam before you have to learn all new content. Go to pmnotebooks.com to save time and money with a course that respects your schedule and delivers results.